Greetings, fellow infrastructure engineers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Timberborn, Episode 2, Road Systems. So, speaking about the seeds we can plant, kohlrabi can be eaten raw. Well, everything else here needs processing. So, cassava, I'll pause a second. Cassava needs to be fermented. And you can tell by just the symbol. So cassava is these 3 roots, and they need to be fermented. The other way to check this out is to go to nutrition. So eating raw would be kohlrabis, and then mangrove fruit. Cassava, soybeans, and mushrooms need to be fermented. And then corn, eggplant, and algae need to be cooked. And then there's coffee. So for now, I'm going to just focus on the things that can be eaten raw, because I don't have the infrastructure to be able to provide, food processing. So I'm going to keep it very simple and plant the things that are easy to plant and easy to process, meaning raw. There we go. Something like that. So we have 2 days until the drought. And I'm now starting to move the lumberjack flags from where they were to a more permanent spot down here. There we go. We have a continuous road all the way up to here. So you can see that it's starting to get far. Essentially, using this road is going to be inefficient because of how long it is, but at least it exists, and that's what matters. We have about half the logs for the farmhouse. Am I going to dam the bottom portion of the river? At some point, but likely not even a dam. I'll probably use a floodgate at that point. And I'm likely to replace the dams that I have with floodgates, as floodgates are ultimately going to be more efficient for water. So dams will keep your water level at 0.75 in preparation for a drought. Floodgates can keep your water at 1. So it's 25% more water for a single cell preparing for it. And in fact, one thing that I could do is eventually unlock levees. And imagine these are levees. And just levee up the entire back section here to literally have a giant flooded pond back here if I wanted to. There's a bunch of different ways to prepare for prolonged droughts. But almost all of them involve damming up a large section of the map and flooding it intentionally, and then withdrawing from that water, mostly for hydration, but sometimes even work. I mean, I don't think it would make sense to run water wheels during a drought, but, like, you could. I probably wouldn't, but you could. Alright, I'm going to have the forester prioritize pine, because I'm going to need wood sooner than these oaks will grow. So I've planted some oaks. The way it works is the forester focuses on the trees closest to it. But now I just want him to focus on pine. So if you're wondering, water will evaporate 1 depth every 22 days. So if you have droughts that last longer than 22 days, you're going to need more than a 1 depth water source. Initially, the game doesn't throw very long droughts at you, because that would be horribly punishing. But it is something that we're going to need to prepare for in the long run, because in the long run, if we don't have the capacity to deal with prolonged droughts that last longer than like 22 days, we'll perish, and I don't want to perish. Artillerin, thank you for the resub. Cheers. So the next thing I said that I wanted to unlock will be wooden stairs, and we're going to get that in about 10 research, which is pretty good. And we've stockpiled a decent amount of planks as well. I think the game's going easy on me for some reason. I don't know why. But when I play tested hard difficulty, I got a lot more... my first route was a lot sooner. Do beavers like or dislike wet fur? They like it. It's a requirement of theirs. And there's a few different ways to do it. One is just literally have them walk through the water. That will make their fur wet. Another is the Lido well-being, which provides the basic needs of wet fur, which is my preference over double shower, because double shower withdraws water, whereas the Lido provides fun and gets their fur wet. It's better to do it without wasting water, unless you have an excessive amount of water. And if you do on hard mode, then you don't need my advice. You're better than I am. Alright, so this lumberjack, I don't think is cutting anything down. There's nothing within range, so I'm going to dismiss him and have him go work other jobs, like as a farmer, planting kohlrabi. So I'm going to have them prioritize harvesting kohlrabi rather than planting it. I'd rather have them get to a nice equilibrium where they have as many plots as they can manage. If you have the prioritized action be planting, you can have farm fields way larger than you have the manpower to harvest. Whereas if you prioritize harvesting, you will find an equilibrium that makes a lot more sense. All right, we now have the science for stairs. I know, right? So the plan is to provide stairs here first, giving us the ability to walk in this water, because that will allow us to plant mangrove trees up there. So where I placed the... Well, here, let me stop the mangrove trees for now. But where I placed the forester is right where both sections of water are. So as soon as we get these wooden stairs in, bada bing, bada boom, this forester can now manage mangroves all the way up to about that section of the river. And we, however, don't have a gatherer for all of that, but we will. For now, I'm planning on having just a stairwell up to these oak trees. These oak trees are going to be a really nice resource of wood pretty early on. So this is where my next stairs are going to go. One here, and run right there. With a continuous path from the district center all the way to these oak trees. And then these oak trees are already... set up to cut. Alright, we have a ton of kohlrabi planted. I could have them plant more kohlrabi over here. But I think I want to designate these for oak trees instead. So the current priority now is prep for the drought. As it is coming in half a day, or a little less than half a day. And now that I have a whole bunch of pine sown, let's focus on sowing mangrove. So I want to prepare for the drought, but I also want to build barracks. So the push during this drought is to supply well-being to hit up to the first threshold. The first threshold is +5. So I want to try to get to 5 well-being so that my beavers are happy. I can also add stairs here. Yep, I have the planks. Good. I can add stairs there, and that will give me access to the oaks up here as well. So a lot of untapped wood. And then, likewise, put stairs here and gain access to all these birch down here as well. What benefits do the thresholds grant? Life expectancy, move speed, and work speed. It's very, very, very much worth doing. Your beavers work so much more efficiently when they have their needs met, like little machines. Okay, drought has started. So what you'll immediately see is that the water after this dam completely dries up. And as a result, probably half of these birch will dry up. Yeah, there we go. So this is what unirrigated soil looks like. As you can see, it dries up pretty quick. We also no longer have mechanical power for the industrial lumber mill. So I'm going to close it down. And in lieu, I'm going to open up the lumberjack flags. Keep them employed. Now, because we have dammed up part of the river, this is a 5-day drought. It's actually kind of longer than I thought it would be. But we dammed up part of the river. We still have water in the back sections. Kadath, thank you for the resub. 51 months. Holy moly. And with these stairs here, we now can easily get to the other side of this river here by walking through the water. And one thing that you'll notice is their wet fur needs will be met when they're like in the water, which is neat. Like this forester who's been in the water, all day long sowing mangrove trees. Yeah, his water needs are easily met. Alright, I'm going to fire these 2 lumberjacks. Hire them as builders, because I want this building flag, and I want this ramp built as well. Oh, this is a lumberjack flag. That was not what I meant for it to be. I meant for it to be gatherer flag. Oh, and there we go. Now we have this ramp all the way up. And as soon as these 2 plants, these 2 kohlrabi seedlings, which I shouldn't have sown in the first place, are gone, I can start cutting these oaks down. Because this lumberjack flag won't be connected until these are gone. There we go. So now it's all connected. Which also means that my farmers can start farming... Oh, those are blueberries. Meant for them to be kohlrabis. My farmers can start farming up here as well, that they have physical access to this section of the plateau. Not all the soil is irrigated, but a lot of it is. What research is being worked on? So the next research I am probably going to get will be floodgates. So let me update that. Build barracks and floodgates. So floodgates are controllable dams, in other words, that can go at 0, which allows all water to pass through, 0.5, which keeps the water behind them at 0.5, or 1 all the way up, which keeps the back sections essentially flooded. And floodgates are a really good way to early game. 1 high floodgates are really good to help with short droughts, and then the taller floodgates are good for building reservoirs. This gatherer is going to get fired because there's no food. In fact, I don't have food anywhere. The kohlrabis they're already 70, some of them are 75% mature, and then this gatherer flag is starting to gather berries. So I don't have food for them at the moment, but that will change very, very soon. So I'm not worried about that. This beaver is literally just sleeping in the water. Nice. Way to fulfill your needs. And now with all of these new lumberjack flags that I have everywhere, this is going to allow me to have the wood in order to build the barracks that I need. The Iron Teeth barracks are a lot more expensive than the Folktales. So that's why I've been holding off on providing, like, services. Also, let's see here. I want this woodcutter just to cut this one tree that is in the road, because it's preventing connections here. There we go. And now that he's doing that, I can put all the trees back. So here's what a barracks looks like. It's too high and bulky, and I am planning on putting it like right by the cliff edge, I think. Let me think about this. I'm actually going to change where those are going to go. I'm going to put them here. Sort of out of the way. But, I can add a new staircase to quickly get up to them. And then the tops of them are going to be accessible very easily. And there we go. So now new flags. So if I'm worried about food, which I'm not, but let's say I am, I can fire someone. Let's fire a builder and put them as a gatherer, and now this gatherer is gathering berries that are up here, because these still have some berries. So floodgates, 150 science. It's going to take me a minute to unlock it. We're not quite there yet. Are there hostile factions? No. So here you can see this berry gatherer. It's just feeding our Iron Teeth. And the kohlrabis are starting to get ready to be harvested. So our food shortages will resolve soon. Alright, this barracks already has 34 out of the 40 logs it needs. Much thanks to the accessed oak from these lumberjacks. Because this is a lot of wood. Okay, we are done sowing the mangrove entirely, so let's go back to pine. So these mangrove trees, they will take 10 days to grow, and then 10 days to produce fruit. Which is why, if you want mangrove fruit, cutting down mangrove trees doesn't make much sense, because if you cut the trees down, it will be 20 more days until you get fruit, which is kind of a long time, whereas if you leave the trees intact, you'll get fruit a lot more often. And paths are free, so I'm just going to interconnect these like that. And there we go. We have one barracks, and I need 2 at least, because we still have 4 homelessness, so we'll get both barracks built. And with these barracks built, once I start to provide some well-being services, like rooftop terrace, or campfires, or teeth grindhouse. In fact, I can already make a teeth grindhouse. They're very, very cheap. We'll step back the working hours to allow them to get more R&R so that they get that +5 bonus. So we're about halfway into our drought. Our water levels are looking about, let's say, a third? Should be enough to get through this drought. It was kind of a late starter drought, but also like a bad starter drought. Kind of a longer one. Usually your first drought's like 3 days. So, we survived it. I think I'm going to change what I unlock. I'm trying to decide between platforms and floodgates. Yeah, I'm going to do platforms. So platforms are just raised sections where you can build inside of them. And the way they're going to be useful is I can build like stairs all the way up like this, given that I have enough planks. For a huge shortcut to get to the top. And at this point, I'm going to start building the power wheel and power shaft for manually operating the industrial lumber mill. But the barracks is my higher priority. So I'm going to set the barracks as a higher priority, and I'm also going to set the a campfire as a higher priority. Because let's update the priorities here. Build barracks and well-being. So we have a campfire. And then I'm planning on putting a rooftop terrace above, like this, once this barracks is built. That is connected like that. Boom. Because people are sleeping, I now have a well-being of 4. If we had more shelters provided, I would have shot up to 5. Which is the first threshold for a bonus. So there's small bonuses here. You know, like 5% move speed or whatever. But we're here's a 5 bonus. So he's working 10% faster, which is really nice. And then you can see the other tiers for move speed, for work speed, and then also for life expectancy. So you gain a life expectancy of 20% at well-being 7. So providing these isn't just like you being benevolent. It's very much very much a matter of succeeding. Now that we have harvested all these dandelions, I actually plan on getting rid of them. Dandelions is used for medicine, and I am not going to set up a medicine production chain just yet. It's going to be a while until I get one, I bet. So I'm going to have my builders destroy those dandelions so they can plant kohlrabi in its place. Because we're still struggling on food production. It's not so bad. We're not starving, but more food the merrier. So our forester is just about done sowing all the pine that can be sown, because some of this pine back here, the soil isn't irrigated, so it can't be sown. I don't need to worry about it then. And then we'll move on to sowing the rest of the oak. Getting a big old oak forest, so that we have lots of wood. Because wood is as much of a lifeblood to these beavers as like water and food is. Without wood, you have nothing. Oh, there we go. So now you can see the rooftop terrace will eventually get built. It's very, very, very far away from the district center, but that's why I'm building the shortcut eventually. And we have barracks for everyone. So everybody is sleeping inside now. We have 6 spare beds. And as a result, once these beavers like eat and drink and whatever, my well-being should shoot up as well. Do you think they high five with their tails? Well, it wouldn't be called five, would it? And there we go. I hit 5. So, and hitting 5, there's a growth speed, movement speed, work speed bonus provided. Well, so this is a child, so they have a growth speed, and adults will have movement speed. And there are even some with 6 fulfillment. And then with the campfire and a rooftop terrace, which is being built now, they'll have even more fulfillment. I might be able to get up to 7 or so. And then once the mangroves are producing fruit, possibly 8. So it's all coming together. We have about half days left of the drought, and I'm down to maybe like 20% water. Yeah. Well survived. I would have, it's closer than I would like, but not deadly close. I'm also going to unlock shrubs and roof. I don't have enough for roof. So roof is built on top of buildings, and it provides an aesthetic bonus, and then so do shrubs. And they're pretty cheap early on. So they're good to get like a little bump of extra well-being for not much cost. And it's useful to put them in places that get frequented often, so that people build up the bonus. All right, so this lumberjack flag doesn't need someone in them anymore, like ever. Nor does that one. So I'm breaking them down. What's going on with this lumberjack flag? Let's build that. So this no, never mind. So this lumberjack will be able to cut all of this birch over here. And I have one unemployed person. There we go. There's a few trees within range of this flag for more timber cutting. Okay, we just hit 6. I reduced the working hour. Oh, and there's 7. So I reduced the working hours to 4 p.m. To give time for things like rooftop terrace and campfires. The rooftop terrace would be frequented more often if the shortcut was built, but I don't have the planks and wood to build that just yet. And the water will be flowing any second now. So we survived the drought with like, maybe like 10-15% water left. I don't have a water gauge, but that would be my estimate. So the current priority right now is build more well-being. And travel infrastructure. So here comes the water. And this will start to rotate the compact wheel, but only when the water level reaches high enough to go over the spillway. So it's going to be a minute before that water wheel starts spinning, but once it does, I'll turn the industrial lumber mill back on for planks so that we can actually build these infrastructure projects. Another thing I would like to build is like a platform here with paths down, so I can build sow mangrove trees in the bottom here as well. Leave no surface unsown. We have a power wheel built, but I'm not going to be using it because we have we will have water power in a minute. Are you not doing anything? Oh yeah, there's no trees to be cut, so fired. Is the dam still closed? You don't open and close dams. They just are. And they have a 75% spillway. And there we go. The water finally hit 75%, so the spillway is active and the dam is running. So I'm firing 2 of my builders to be employed as lumber milling. And things are green and flowing again. So this is an indicator that I'm out of berries, which is true. So I'm turning on the berry gather flag. Oh, no, we already have someone hired there. Perfect. To make sure that the breeding pods are always active. So the pine up here, he's too far away from water. It's not irrigated, so I'm just going to cancel it. At some point, we might be able to irrigate that, but it'll probably be a while. Nice, water's really flowing. We're getting 75 horsepower, which is all the power that we need to run this at 100% efficiency, which is great. So I am also going to save up for floodgates. And initially I'm just going to get the 1 height floodgates. And then probably save up for the 3 height floodgates. Oh, 2 more plank. Oh, yeah. Our shortcut's almost done. You're about to see this road go from red to green. There it is. So much better. So that should help. And if we take a look at the goodwill or the well-being here, the campfire and the rooftop terrace is not fully being utilized, so we could definitely eke out more bonuses by, you know, building more of them and providing more time for our beavers to take advantage of it. I would also like to start to build warehouses. So this, I'm going to build a medium warehouse there, and then I'm going to build a large industrial pile here. So the large industrial pile will have logs, and the medium warehouse will have berries. And then on top of, so campfires can only be placed on the ground, as you can see. So I'll put another campfire here, let's say, and then another rooftop terrace here. It's not really space efficient, but I'm not too worried about that just yet. Things can always be moved around as well. So there's some more infrastructure projects for well-being. And then we're working on these wooden stairs and platforms to be able to gain access to the lower section. The other thing I want to make sure that I have is if I do want to build floodgates at the end here, I need roadworks so that this is a buildable area. So it is now. Wasn't before, but it is now. How far away to flood that lower plain? Well, it depends on whether I want to flood it or not. So there's a few different options here. One, I can flood the front section of the map. So imagine where my cursor is, building floodgates here, and then flooding everything beyond this point out that way. So this entire thing becomes a standing reservoir. Or I could flood the back section. Either one will work. Where I wall up the back here and I flood this back section. The advantage of flooding the front section is I can release water to trickle out to keep things irrigated. Whereas on the back section, I can't really release water to trickle out because it's as far back as it can go. There's ways around that, which is you have a water dump, which allows you to move water around and dump it in a specific area to keep things irrigated. So there's a really cheap way to make irrigation that way, where you can build a water dump. I don't have the science points for it, but imagine if I have levees. These aren't levees, but imagine if they're levees, and I build like a little spot to dump water, so I have a small pool of water to keep things irrigated in front. It kind of overcomplicates things, if you ask me, but I'm going to poll you guys anyway. How to build a reservoir. And I'll have both options. One around the basin of the waterfall. One at the back of the river. Now, even if I do one at the back basin of the waterfall, I can still keep water at the back of the river too. I can do both. It's just one will be a dedicated reservoir and the other will be just like a way to preserve water. Cheers. All right, we have got our log storage. No, these logs can actually be hauled somewhere because we deconstructed stuff and they just like sat there in perpetuity as a result. Getting a second campfire and second rooftop terrace should really help with our pop demands of recreation and well-being. And I now have what I need for a level 1 floodgate. So the important thing about the floodgate is that it's pathable. So I'm going to create a temporary road down there now that I have this stairwell that beavers can use to build the floodgate. And then once the floodgate is built, because it looks like, I'm just going to cancel this poll, it looks like we're going to do around the basin of the waterfall. So I'm going to replace this with floodgates back here so that I can keep water in this back section during a drought. Thank you for tuning in to Timberborn, which originally streamed live on Twitch December 27th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you on next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Iron Teeth.